Car crash in Ishpeming.
Murder trial postponed. Hi, I'm Dane Wormlinger.
And I'm Charlie Edwards, and this is your Public Eye News. Extremely foggy conditions we've had this morning caused a car crash at the roundabout in Ishpeming. At about 8 a.m., a young driver driving a tan Chrysler Sebring drove the wrong direction and was involved in a minor accident. Part of the roundabout was closed for about 20 minutes. The car was towed from the scene and the driver left the scene without any serious injuries. Northern Michigan's educational access network expansion plan took a big leap forward very recently. Last night, a proposal to put EAN services into Escanaba went before the City Council. NMU officials proposed putting equipment on Escanaba's water tower that would enable a broadband wireless system to be used for both educational and government purposes.
The Marquette City Police were called to the warming center on Washington Street last night around 5 o'clock. They responded to the report of an assault where the victim was being stabbed. Police report that they arrested 51-year-old Alan Scott Beauchamp and charged him with felonious assault. He remains jailed pending his arraignment. The victim has been treated and released. The murder trial against a former Caspian woman has been postponed. Kelly Cochran's 3-week jury trial had been set to begin December 5th, but in Iron County Trial Court on Thursday, the judge rescheduled it for the end of January. The motion for the continuance was granted to both attorneys. More time to prepare for the murder trial. This comes in light of new findings and evidence not yet received from other agencies. Delaying the trial puts the start date outside of the 180-day limit for a speedy trial. A number of motions were heard Thursday, including one by the defense to have the trial moved to a different venue. The motion was denied.
On Thursday, Judge William Collette of Lansing has dismissed a misconduct charge against an ex-Michigan lawmaker who quit office last year in the midst of a sex scandal. Republican Todd Courser is still facing a perjury charge in the case in Ingham County Circuit Court. Courser's resignation came right before the Michigan Attorney General's office voted to let go of fellow GOP representatives Cindy Gamrat. He is accused of soliciting an aide to end a fake email to conceal an affair with Gamrat. Charges against Gamrat have been dismissed. In Flint, federal officials have outlined new steps Flint must take before changing its drinking water source again in the wake of its lead contamination crisis. On Friday, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency updated an order issued in January which calls for the city to construct a 3-mile interconnection so it can test water from a new authority for 3 months as it continues to provide water from Detroit's system. Late next year, Flint is slated to switch to the Karenani Water Authority and treat the water itself. And stay tuned because after the break, we will be back with your national and international news.
On the first day of January, in the year of our Lord, 1863, all persons held as slaves within any state or any designated part of a state shall be then thenceforward and forever free.
Coming January 22nd on Public TV 13.
And welcome back. Police in Wichita, Kansas say the FBI has joined the search for a missing newborn whose mother was found shot to death in her home. Police Lieutenant Todd Olge said during a news conference Friday that the week-old infant's father returned home from work on Thursday to find the girl missing and her 27-year-old mother dead. He says the child is believed to be in danger. The father is not considered to be a suspect at this time. Authorities have issued an Amber Alert seeking the public's help in finding the girl because investigators have yet to identify a suspect. And an Arizona police officer is on administrative leave after a disturbing video surfaced showing him punching a woman. Flagstaff police say the recording shows the officer striking the woman in the face as he tried to arrest her. The officer believed she had outstanding warrants. Carter Evans has more.
Do not arrest me until I know that I have a warrant.
Cell phone video captured Wednesday shows Flagstaff police officer Jeff Bonner striking Melissa Morris outside her boyfriend's home in Arizona while attempting an arrest.
Hey, you can't hit a girl like that.
Bonner, who's been with the department almost 3 years, was assisting another officer with an eviction when he noticed Morris on the property.
You're going to get extra charges. Stop resisting.
I don't have a warrant.
attempts to detain Marissa for the investigation of warrants that we believe were in place for her at that time.
He yelled at me that I had a warrant, and I said, no, I do not, and just brutally attacked me pretty much.
Morris did hold 2 failure to appear warrants for DUI and resisting arrest, but they were resolved before Wednesday's incident. Officer Bonner was wearing a body camera, but according to his own police report, he turned it off before approaching Morris.
We owe Marissa, her family, the Flagstaff community, the officer in the department, a full and complete investigation.
Also in his report, Bonner says Morris appeared to be on a stimulant drug and resisted arrest, kneeing him in the groin and legs several times. In the report, Bonner also acknowledged striking Morris in the head several times.
I know what happened because I have to live it every day. I have to feel it. It's pretty embarrassing, actually. It makes me feel like nothing.
Carter Evans, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Today, President-elect Donald Trump signaled a sharp rightward shift in U.S. national security policy. He has named Alabama Senator Jeff Sessions Attorney General, Kansas Representative Mike Pompeo the head of the CIA, and former military intelligence chief Michael Flynn National Security Advisor. The common thread between all 3 of these men is they have all been critical toward how Barack Obama handled terrorism and international relations during his 8-year term. President Obama flew to South America after the European leg of his final trip abroad in office. He met with key allies in Germany to discuss security and the transition of power to President-elect Donald Trump. CBS's Margaret Brennan reports from Berlin.
America's top European allies are all asking President Obama what to expect from the next leader of the free world. Donald Trump's selection of controversial top advisors has raised eyebrows on a continent concerned by what Mr. Obama has described as the rise of crude nationalism.
What I said to him was that what may work in generating enthusiasm or passion during elections may be different than what will work in terms of unifying the country.
European leaders also fear that the president-elect, whom Syria's Bashar al-Assad has called an ally, will do little to stop the brutal violence in Syria.
In these final weeks of your presidency, do you believe you have any leverage to stop Bashar al-Assad and Vladimir Putin from continuing to bomb Aleppo?
It would be naive of me to suggest that there's going to be a sudden 180-degree turn, but ultimately, the way this is going to be resolved is going to have to be a recognition by Russia and a willingness to pressure Assad.
And President Obama urged Europe to keep pressure on Russia through financial sanctions. He will cross paths with Vladimir Putin this weekend at the Asia-Pacific Summit in Peru. Margaret Brennan, CBS News, Berlin.
A 14-year-old UK girl has convinced a judge to let her body be frozen upon her death. The girl had been diagnosed with cancer, and in a final letter to a British judge, the girl requested that her body not be buried, but rather frozen. The girl argued that being cryopreserved gives her a chance to be cured and woken up, even if that means 100 years later. The girl's divorced parents, who can't be named for legal reasons, disagreed about the procedure. The girl's lawyer, Zoe Fleetwood, told the Associated Press that her client learned of the favorable ruling on October 6th, just 11 days before she died. The procedure is still unproven to work. And Iraqi troops advanced cautiously into eastern districts of Mosul on Friday, facing stiff resistance from Islamic State militants. Officers say that a day earlier they had paused their assault due to poor visibility. Airstrikes, automatic fire, and artillery were heard from dawn, and one soldier was reportedly killed in clashes. Civilians were seen fleeing the fighting. According to the officers, the Iraqi forces aim to take complete control of the city's Tahrir area. Iraqi forces launched the long-awaited operation to retake Mosul a month ago, but have only advanced into a few eastern districts. And stay tuned, because after the break, we'll have your weather and sports.
Such outsiders on the reservation, and I never felt a part of society. When Bitter Tears came out, it was a phenomenal boost for my spirit.
Well, the Seneca
We were hungry for that, you know, we needed something like that.
Down on the New York.
I don't know if he anticipated the hostility he was going to get.
After the U.S.
Here with your local weather. As you can see behind me in the Academic Mall, it's a bit of a cloudy day. We actually have a winter weather advisory in effect for tonight, so please stay safe. Right now in Marquette, the weather's at about 49 degrees with winds east at 8 miles per hour and the barometric pressure falling at 29.57 inches. Looking into tonight, you should expect a rain-snow mix with a low of 32 degrees and winds southeast at 15 miles per hour. And into tomorrow, our first snowy day with a high of 33 degrees and winds southeast at 11 miles per hour. Taking a look across the UP, we can expect snow everywhere tonight. In Sault Ste. Marie, it's 57 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Manistee at 55, Escanaba at 55 as well. And down in Menominee, 56 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Iron Mountain is at 53 degrees today. Ironwood at 43 degrees with rainy skies. Houghton at 44. And back here in Marquette, it's 49. Let's take a look at your week ahead. On Sunday, you can expect a high of 30 degrees, a low of 26 degrees, and cloudy skies. On Monday, a high of 34 degrees, a low of 28 degrees, and partly cloudy skies. And on Tuesday, a high of 37, a low of 31 degrees, and partly cloudy skies. Well, Eric, it looks like we can expect a lot from our swim teams.
Yeah, they're nationally ranked. You gotta like that. The Northern Michigan men's and women's swimming and diving teams both cracked the national top 5 in this month's NCAA Division II swimming and diving poll. And, then men vaulted to number 4 while the women moved up to number 5. Both teams were slotted 10th in the first poll of the season, which was released on October 26th. 3 other GLIAC schools were represented in the men's poll and women's poll. Grand Valley State, Saginaw Valley State, and Wayne State joined the Wildcats in the national top 25. The men's team is undefeated this season, toppling 8 different teams. The women's team has dispatched 9 teams and fallen only to St. Cloud State. And the Carolina Panthers middle linebacker Luke Kuechly has been placed in the NFL's concussion protocol, and his status for the team's November 27th game against Oakland is uncertain. Coach Ron Rivera updated Kuechly's status on Friday and said that the linebacker has no other known injuries. The 2013 NFL Defensive Player of the Year was carted off the field in an emotional moment during the fourth quarter of Carolina's 23-20 win over the New Orleans Saints on Thursday night. Kuechly appeared to be gasping for breath as he was helped to the cart, and tears rolled down his face. Players from both sides came over to offer their well wishes to Kuechly. Kuechly spent 34 days last season in the concussion protocol and missed 3 games. The Houston Cougars quite enjoyed playing spoiler on Thursday night with their playoff hopes long since gone. Duke Catalan scored 3 touchdowns, and Houston hurried and harassed Heisman favorite Lamar Jackson all night to propel the Cougars to a stunning 36-10 victory over number 3 Louisville that dashed the Cardinals' playoff chances. Louisville, who is 9-2, entered the game ranked 5th in college football playoff rankings, but was outdone by a Houston team that saw its own playoff hopes foiled by 2 losses to unranked teams after a 5-0 start. Things went wrong quickly for the mistake-prone Cardinals when they fumbled away the opening kickoff. And from there, things just kept getting worse. The Heisman hopeful didn't throw a touchdown pass until the second half.
Well, are you guys looking forward to Thanksgiving break?
Looking forward to it, but most importantly, everyone should be safe this weekend because the weather's supposed to be kind of crazy.
Yeah. And that's all the time we have for you today. Make sure you have a safe and wonderful Thanksgiving week. Yay. Yeah.
The preceding program was produced in studios located in the Edgar L. Hardin Learning Resources Center by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television.